I'm Samantha Brown, professional organizer, decluttering specialist, and business coach. I created Pro Organizers Coach podcast to empower you to reach new heights in your business. I am on a mission to build a supportive sisterhood of passionate professional organizers. So whether you're a seasoned pro or you're just getting started, this podcast is for you. Hey friends, welcome back to the Pro Organizers Coach podcast and YouTube channel. Today I have Miss Kylin with me, and she is one of our newer members of the POC group coaching community, which if you have not come and joined, you should totally do that because it's completely worth it. And not just for me. I'm going to let Kylin tell you for just a second what her experience has been like, and then we are going to jump into her coaching session that she gets as a thank you for being a member. And all of my members get that. So once you join, you get a coaching session for free as a thank you for being a POC member. So thank you, Kylin, for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
I'm excited. Okay, so tell everyone real quick what your experience has been like in the community, and then we'll hop into the coaching.
It has been invaluable. So, everybody is really welcoming, and we're all on such different levels that I was nervous coming in because I wasn't like at their, level. I was beginning, but everybody's been so helpful and reassuring, and knowing that they were exactly where I was or where I am, that I can be where they are, in the future if I listen to them. But thank you for everything. I love the weekly coaching sessions. Those are a lot of fun, and get a lot out of it.
Yeah, and what I love about it too is just that every single person is at a different space, because I have some people that they come in through the course, right? So they get the Start Your Business course, and then they get 3 months free in the group coaching program so they can pop their homework in and different things, as they're going through the course. Because for me, the point of POC is for me to be able to coach you all and guide you all and be their support and have the community. And so some people are just getting started with the course, and then others have been in the membership for like a year now. And, so they've launched their businesses. Some people have been doing this for a couple of years now as an organizer. And I just think each person is so different, but we are all so similar too. And I know that's because through the podcast, everyone's kind of drawn to me, which makes it to where all of us are similar, but yet we're totally different, not at different stages. And so I don't know. I think it's a beautiful place to be. And, you should totally come join us. For those of you listening and watching, we would love to have you. And it's a monthly membership. If you're like, listen, this isn't my cup of tea, or I don't, whatever, you can cancel at any time. But I really am there. And we as a community are there to support you on this journey, so you're not alone. So that being said, let's jump into our coaching. Okay. So let me ask you, what would make today's coaching session for you feel like a success?
I think having tangible things to do, like action items that I can do today to help me tomorrow, and just a greater sense of confidence of what I'm doing. Since I'm just starting out, I know that what I do is good work, but it's still like that little part of me that's like, and maybe not doing it the right way, or doing it I can do it more efficiently. So I like to gain some confidence, and definitely some action items that I don't have to worry about doing next week. I can literally do tomorrow or today.
Okay. Yeah. So let me ask you, just so I can kind of catch up with where you are. Have you gotten the freebie that's like the checklist of like the things to do by chance?
For starting the business?
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and look. I'm almost positive I've downloaded everything that you have, but no.
Okay. Okay. So that has essentially everything that's in it from the Start Your Business course, but it's just the checklist part. And then I did a workshop kind of going over each little thing. I just find that having that checklist is super helpful, because then you can check off each thing you've done, and then kind of the things you haven't that need to be done. Right. And so when you say action steps, where do you feel like you're getting stuck? Is it the stuff online? Is it the stuff where at with the action stuff?
So I don't have an online presence, because I think you and I talked about this in the last coaching, that I don't have my LLC yet. I haven't established it officially. So I feel like I can't do anything on that end because I don't have it officially. And I know we have to start somewhere, and that's what you're saying, but I know, like, I don't think I can do my Google business until I have that, and so I feel like I'm
Mhm.
stuck, definitely stuck right there, and because I don't have that, I haven't started a Facebook, page or anything. So
So I will say the Facebook page and the Instagram page, those you don't have to like give them your
right,
EIN number, your LLC.
right.
Plus, you haven't. Am I correct when I say you haven't picked a name yet, or you do have a
I
name?
do have a name, yeah,
Okay, you have your name. So have you done the research to look and see if it's like available and if
yes,
it's available? Okay.
yes,
So I would at least go ahead and go grab that Facebook and Instagram like
okay,
yeah, grab those so that way they don't get taken. If
yeah,
there's while they're available, go ahead and grab those. And then it doesn't hurt to go ahead and start putting some stuff on there. Like you don't have to do a ton, but it would at least give you something to do to start building that part of the online presence. So when you do get your LLC, then you can focus more on the back end stuff and the Google part.
okay,
But once you create your Google, then you've already got some Facebook and Instagram posts up. So like that's absolutely something you could be working on in the meantime. And that would kind of take that part off of your plate once you get to the point of like, okay, the LLC, now let me go get the bank account and all the stuff and those types of things as well. So
oh,
now
yeah, I
with
do
this,
have your checklist, sorry.
oh, yeah, no, good, perfect, awesome. Yeah, so just, kind of go like that checklist is literally every little thing that, you need to know to start your business or you need to do. You don't have to do them all, but it at least gives you an idea of kind of, you can check things off as you go.
Right.
And so then, and because I know that you've helped like some family members, what other like sessions and stuff have you done at this point?
So I have 2 clients, they're my friends, but they were doing their whole house. So I meet
Oh,
them.
fantastic.
Mhm. Let's see, I have them right here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 clients that, like, came to me, not family or anything. And then I have 2 friends, and then I have another new one tomorrow. So,
Yay.
word's
Okay,
getting
so
out.
yeah, so is all of this coming from just word of mouth at this point? Okay.
Uh,
No.
2 of them came from online. I had done some posts. I'm part of a, women's business group.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
I do make posts. So I do have posts going out, and I did, like, a Black Friday special, and so I got a couple clients from there.
Perfect. Can I ask what you're charging at the moment?
Yes. So I also had a business coaching session this morning with one of my friends. She was like, "You're severely undercharging."
Uh-huh. That's
I
why I
charge
figured we go there because most of us do at the beginning.
yeah, I charge 167 for 4 hours. So I'm at $41 an hour.
Okay, which may work at the moment because you're technically it's still kind of a side hustle right now, and I know that do what?
Nothing. It's my main source. Yeah, no, it's not a side. I mean, this is what I do. So yeah, I actually
Okay,
just got a side hustle to support my full-time hustle.
I got you. So, well, the reason I was saying side hustle is just because of the LLC thing at the moment.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, yeah, understood.
y-
Got it.
yeah. So, my thinking though, because even once you do get the LLC, and remind me how much is the LLC or like what was stopping you from getting the
130. Well,
LLC?
right now, yeah, I don't have the cash. I'm literally just keeping my head above water. So I need to start putting some back, but I think it's 135
Okay,
ish.
so literally, if you would take $20 of each one of these sessions, I mean,
Yeah,
because the second, I mean, $135, the second you get that LLC, then you can get, like Square and your Venmo and like your
yeah,
Google, like all the stuff really out there to where you're able to then start kind of promoting more. But that then also comes taxes. So what might feel like $41 an hour right now, the second that you are like turning everything in, you got the LLC and everything's going on, minimum 25% of that's going to taxes, minimum. So even if you just took the amount that you're doing right now and you added 25% to cover the taxes. I am curious though, what made you come up with that number? Like, where'd you get the number from?
I did some math of what I needed for bills and what I was comfortable charging, what I thought not worth, but like what I thought was a good value and not too expensive because I did some market research for Lafayette and there's some people below me and there's some people above me. So I kind of picked the middle.
So, but I would say the people below you, how were there many below you, or were those more cleaners?
There's only like three or four of us. There's not,
Okay. And then what was the highest one charging in your area?
it was like I want to say 250.
An hour?
No, no. So that would be, then I don't remember. It
Because
was like
here's
three or four of us. Okay.
so are you okay, let me kind of understand because it depends on where we all live, right? Like that really does matter. So are you near like a bigger city? Is it more of a small town? Like what's the feel
We
of where you're
are
at?
the smallest big city ever. So like we have how many people we have? 100,000. So my friend today, she was like, you should be charging at least 200 for 4 hours.
Oh, absolutely. We're getting there. Keep going.
Okay. Um, we have about 100,000 people. We live in a city, but it feels like a small town.
Okay, so
Everybody
have you
knows.
and I don't know if you've ever been to Knoxville, but Knoxville's where I live. But where I started, I was in Norris, which is above Knoxville, so a lot of my clients like we're near Knoxville, but we weren't even in Knoxville. And Knoxville's not like crazy big city or anything. I mean, it's not like Atlanta or anything by any means. And so it kind of has that same feel of what you're saying. It's like a big city, but it feels like a smaller town. And when I started, and again, this was years ago, but whenever I started, I was doing a 3-hour session for 247. And but that also included after the 3 hours is when I was then hauling away their trash or donations from that day's session. So technically I was there about 3.5 hours for the 297 because I would tell them it included the hauling away, which for a lot of my clients, that's the piece that they're like, wait, you take away my donations and my trash at the end? Like, and I'm like, yes, as long as it's not big furniture and it fits in my car, like I will take it away for you. So I would almost challenge you to, well, okay, let's kind of play with the numbers for a minute. What, like when you came up with that number, you said it's because you figured up your bills, right? So how many sessions per week would you need to do at that rate to make your bills? Do you know?
Didn't even look at
Okay. So because we need to also look at like how many sessions you need like or that you can even fit into your schedule, right? So like if you can fit or if you want to work let's say 4 days a week, well then we need to figure up the numbers for 4 hour sessions a week. So 16 hours of work even though you have back end stuff, but the 16 hours of work per week, how much does that need to bring you
that.
after the 25% taxes?
Okay.
So like we've got to look at that. And I really feel like, have you told all of the people you're working with right now the price that you?
No, because it was two people that I'm working with currently have that price.
Okay, and that's fine because starting out, we all start low. I mean, I think the first session I did, I charged $120 for a 4-hour session with 2 people working.
No, so the clients that I got before, I did a Black Friday special of $100 for 4 hours and got some people, and I worked myself like a dog.
Right, and and so you immediately see very quickly, like,
Right.
how much work goes into this and how you're gonna be burnt out before you can like, there's no way you can sustain that.
Yeah.
So, now remind me what was the number you said you're at now for 4 hours?
167.
167. Okay, so I would immediately jump it up to 197 minimum
Right.
just because they're like that's essentially the same thing, right? Like 167, 197, same difference. It's still under that $200 price point. That gets you closer to about $50 an hour. But the second you get the LLC, and maybe that's the $30 per session that gets put back for the LLC. The second you get that LLC and you have a few more like before and afters, and we got some more of like the back end stuff set up, it's going to have to go up because it's a 4-hour session. And, you know, 4 hours of your time of doing that, like you'll see like once, like if you're comfortable with 197 at the moment, The second you get your LLC and we get all of, the back end stuff done and you've done a few more sessions, then we've got to, even if it's just, up to 247 or, like we'll kind of jump it up in increments that you're comfortable with. But are you okay with at least the 197?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
good. Okay, now talk to me about the confidence piece because you mentioned that. And so I'm kind of curious what that is.
So I guess because I was talking to my friend today about this, like I feel like people are rushing me, and so when I get to doing the work, and then you're like, oh, this is actually a lot of stuff, like the one yesterday. So like going in and saying, I think it's going to take this long, and it takes maybe longer, but I just feel like people are rushing me.
That's where you're going. Okay. Yeah, you're totally no. So I never tell them how long it's going to take. I say,
Right.
I think it might take let's say 2 to 3 sessions, but it depends on how quickly you make decisions. And it depends on how much stuff there is once we start pulling the stuff out, because it does. It matters how quickly they make decisions, and it matters how much stuff is in there once we start pulling it out.
Mhm.
And so that's why I make sure from the very beginning that they understand that I can give you a guesstimate of what I think it might take, but it depends on these other things, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing I kind of wanted, which it's a side note, when it's friends and family, it's a totally different experience than when it's an actual client, right? So that's going to feel a little different. The other thing, though, you had mentioned in coaching the other day, and I'm totally going to throw this out there. So you had mentioned the other day that you were thinking about package pricing
Yeah.
versus sessions. Talk to me a little bit about like the pros and cons or like where your brain was going with that on the packages versus sessions.
Because packages, if they get a deal, that's a prepay. So to bring in money now, getting people to prepay, because if they prepay, you get the deal. If you pay per session, you pay the regular price.
Okay. But here's my thing. So let's say, because here's where I think you might end up having an issue. And it's just like, I almost feel like it needs to be one or the other.
Okay.
Only because if you go in, they're already overwhelmed, right? Like our clients are so overwhelmed by the time they call us. And then if we come in and we're like, okay, it's this, or it's this, or it could be this, but it might be this, like they're like, wait, what? I just tell me what it is so I know what I'm actually buying, right? And so I think where that like a confused customer never purchases, right? Because they're like, I don't know. So I do sessions, right? But I know other people do packages. I don't care what you do. I just think it needs to, like, you just need to decide what it is you do and have a very specific thing that you go through. So if, even the girls that are like, oh, I have a 5 hour package and a 10 hour package and a 15-hour package and a 20 hour, like that's stressful. So if you're going to do packages, I would think on a 4 hour thing, maybe it's a 12-hour package, or maybe it's a 16-hour package, or, you know, whatever that looks like for you. Just try to think of the fact that if you are doing a 4 hour session, it needs to be in increments of four, or you're going to have them being like, oh, well, can I have you 1 hour this day and like 2 hours this other day? And oh, well, I already paid for 20 hours, so I'd like 3 hours this day. Like it could get
Right.
very confusing. And then around that with the packages, you are also going to have to be very transparent about the way that you do this with them. It's the same with sessions. It doesn't matter what you're doing, but you're going to have to explain, okay, I think this might take, like, let's say you decide to do 12-hour packages, right? So I do 12-hour packages. The cost of a 12-hour package is, let's say, $1,200. I don't know, whatever. So as you're explaining it, you're going to then have to tell them what your policies are for if they cancel, if like I'm trying to think of how to word this. Like if they cancel, do they lose an hour, or do they, like do you take it out of the next session? Are they able to reschedule? If they are able to reschedule, how many hours in advance do they have to reschedule with you? Are you the one scheduling them? How long do they have to use those hours that they've purchased before they expire? Are they transferable? Do they expire? Which they should expire at some point. But I just know of, like, for instance, I had a guy reach out to me and I went and worked with him. He still had 4 hours left with an organizer that he tried to reach out to, and her number was disconnected. I guess because she had quit being an organizer. And so he's like, I did have those 4 hours that I really wanted to use, but I couldn't get to use them. He said, so I called you. And then, of course, with me, I just do the sessions one step at a time. The reason I do the sessions and the reason that I feel like they work the best is because it takes the overwhelm out of it. For you, for them, you're not having to keep up with people's hours. You're not having to explain to them, like, oh, or yeah, you may get a bunch of money right now, but then what happens if for 2 weeks straight, it's all of the people that paid you last month? And then for 2 weeks straight, you feel like you're working for free, even though you're not, but that money's probably already spent.
That's right. What is
So, yeah. Oh, no, I was just gonna say, so what like, how are you feeling about it? Like, what do you feel like would be best for
I
you?
Yeah, I like the idea of sessions. So the other thing that was maybe suggested, because sometimes like 4 hours is good, but like sometimes like I really need like that 6 hour mark. Like 4 hours is what everybody can do. But if I'm working by myself, like I find that usually about the 4.5 to 5 hour mark is like best. So what is your experience with just charging hourly?
So the problem with hourly is all they see is the number, and then people are gonna be rushing you. Like,
Okay.
okay, I'm paying per hour. I need you to hurry. Now, what I do is I do a 3 hour session, but it's $97 per hour for each additional hour. So if I end up staying for 4 hours, then
Okay.
it's the 297 plus the 97 for the additional hour.
And is
And
that
that's,
like okay?
yeah, and that's
Yeah.
in my contract. But here's the other piece. So we also need to look at the types of clients you're getting. So if you're getting the types of clients that you're doing a lot of stuff for them, they've already decluttered and you're doing more of like the bins and the baskets and the organizing piece, then working by yourself is going to be like they could probably care less if you're in there, if what's going on or whatever. If you're working with a client, like for instance, I have a client I'm doing a garage with right now. She decided she wanted to do 4 hour sessions because we're doing her garage and she took time off of work this week to do her garage. And she's like, I want to do 3 4 hour sessions. And I said, okay, that's what I'll schedule you for. We got to 3 hours of the first session and she said, you're right. I can't handle anymore. Like, I'm so overwhelmed. I think we need to stop for today. So like it depends on each person, which is why I told her, I said, this is why I do a 3 hour session when I'm working with my clients, is because when you're go, 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 yeah, we physically and mentally are able to take it. But for them, they're making decision, like nonstop. And at some point, if you overwhelm them that first time, they're not going to want you to come back. And I would rather kind of take our time if it's not something where it's like, oh, I got to pack because we're moving. If there's not like a finite deadline, then I would rather take my time, give them a good experience, keep them calm, get enough done to where they feel like we've made progress. But it doesn't have to be finished before you walk out the door that day. You can come back for another session to finish it up if they're working it with you, right? So like I get what you're saying, where a lot of times for us, now some organizers that feel like they can go 6 hours, what they will do is like, I know a girl that works here. She actually does 2 3 hour sessions or 2 4 hour sessions on certain days of the week because she needs them, like she wants more income. So it really, you just have to look at what works best for you, but you also have to look at what's going to work best for your clients. Because if your clients like have to go into work because they took half a day off work, for you to come, or if they have young kids and, oh, they're at Mother's Day out and they're only there for 4 hours and then you still want to stay, but they have to go get their kid. Now a kid's like, and so that's why I found that if I do hourly, they have no idea how long I'm going to be there. That's what I ended up finding with trying to do hourly with like a minimum. Or you'd have people wanting you to come for like 2 hours, and that's not worth my time, or, And so when you put it in the container of it's a 3 hour set, or well, for you, it's a 4 hour session. But if we need to go an additional hour or two, like whatever, like if we get on a roll and we both agree that I can stay, like, everything works out to where I can stay an additional hour, each additional hour is X number of dollars for that day.
Do you give them a discount on that hourly, or is it just your stuff divided by 3? Yeah, it's just okay.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
checking, just making
Yeah. No,
sure.
no, no. Sorry. No. Now, so, but I've gotten to this point. The old me
And
totally gave, like, let's be real. The old me gave discounts left and right and was like, "Oh my gosh, like you're cute. Here's $50 discount." Like, I mean, not really, but it felt like I was constantly giving discounts.
okay.
But now I'm to a point where I'm like, "No, the price is what it is, and I know that it's valuable and like what they're getting is worth that amount of money." But that's also why I tell my clients we're going to take it one step at a time. If that means one day per week until we get the house done, if that means one day every other week, I just need some kind of consistency so we can get some momentum going.
Mhm.
But a lot of people nowadays essentially want to go through their whole house. It's not, very few people call and want like just the pantry done or just the whatever. Like they really do want to go through their whole house. But the idea of me coming every single, like every day for a week is so overwhelmed. They're like, no, that immediately makes them not want to do it. And so that's the other piece of where I have found with packages in my experience, it's different everywhere. But whenever a lot of organizers that do packages, they end up kind of doing them to where it's like, okay, here's a 20-hour package. Let's break it up. But then you're essentially working with that one client until you get those hours or the job or the whatever kind of gone through. With me, I'm working with 6 different clients every single week, and I can constantly, like if someone comes and they're like, "Oh, okay, I need, a session within the next week or so." Well, I normally have I mean, not now, but typically I would have an availability to like pop them into one day, at least get that first session going. Cause once they have one session with us, then we're going to be the person they call for every session from then on. Plus, once you've worked with someone, if they think the only option is a 12-hour package, they're not going to call you for the small stuff. If they're like, "Oh, I just need this one closet done," we could totally get it done in one session, but I don't want to pay for, a 12-hour package or whatever. I just feel like it starts to confuse them, like so
Yeah, that makes
anyways,
a lot of sense.
yeah. And that's why I went that way. Now, if you start working with people with sessions and you start doing it one step at a time and you realize, you know what, I really would rather do packages, then by all means go to packages. I just know that there's one person I know that does packages. Every other person I know that I've coached does sessions, and it's working for them. They're getting booked out. They're not, like, because most people don't know what organizers do, right? And so until we can get in there and get that session done, they it's still this like, they stress themselves out. They think it's going to be this horrible thing. They want to cancel on us. They want to do all this stuff. But the second they do a session or two, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I love you forever. Like you're going to always be my person." And so I think just allowing yourself some time to start doing it this way and to make it like an easy yes is the goal, right? Like the goal of your stuff is to get on the phone with them. The goal of the phone call is to get the consultation. The goal of the consultation is to get the first session. Before you leave the first session, you book the next one and you just
Yeah,
take it one step at a time. And when you tell them that and you're like, "Listen," and I tell them, I do that so not only you aren't overwhelmed, but also I'm not overwhelmed. Like we are collaboratively working this together one step at a time until we get you where you want to be. And they're like, "Oh, that makes sense."
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So how does that feel confidence wise? Like, does that help a little bit with like what you're explaining?
Yes, that helps a lot because, y'all are my only people. So I don't have any other organizers to like bounce stuff off of. So what you're saying makes all the sense. Like
Okay.
I am trying to make a dollar, but I'm also like trying to help people a little too much. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
And
comfortable going up to 197. Yeah.
I love it. So literally, I need to send you the paperwork. I don't know if you saw I have it posted in the membership, but I know it's like kind of down the feed at this point or somewhere. But I'll send you some links to help you with the paperwork stuff. In the paperwork, just go through, read, like, edit it to your numbers, your stuff, take out anything that doesn't apply to you. And then whenever you get ready to explain or to like go over the paperwork, like, I'm on Messenger. Everyone, not everyone in the membership, but especially the ones of you that are just getting started. Like, I think yesterday I spent over an hour talking to one girl in particular just because she got her first phone call that was like a random from Google and she was freaking out. So she's like, "What do I say? How do I say it? Oh my gosh." And so I sat and talked her through it. And I'm like, "Okay, make the phone call, then call me back. Then we'll talk through the next step." But like, I'm here for you. That's part of you being in the membership. Like, for me, it's not this like wall of like, "Oh, you're in the membership. I'll see you on Tuesday for, a few minutes to ask your question." I want you to feel like you could send me a quick voice memo and be like, "Okay, so I'm freaking out about this thing. Like, what do I need to do?" And then, when I see it, like, I'll send back a voice memo or something. But I don't ever want you to feel like you don't know the answer, because the whole point of POC is so you have the answers. Or if you don't have an answer, we can at least figure out an answer for you for that thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I've
Yeah.
been listening to the podcast that you told me about. I'm re-listening. So with the
Yay.
phone call, the meeting, and all those, so I'm listening to those as we speak.
Good. And how are you feeling with that? So, like, because I know a few of yours are friends, but like, have you done any phone calls yet? Or have most of them just been like in person and then you went to the consultation?
Yeah, I
Okay.
haven't done any phone calls. I think it's because I've also haven't done any kind of advertising, so I haven't been getting any like random people. They
Well,
most of
yeah. Yeah.
most of them. I've only had two strangers. The other ones, like I know, are friends of friends. So, and those were early on. So I haven't had anybody recently that do the phone call. But
Yeah. Well, most of the time your phone calls are going to come once we get your Google up. Like,
right,
because people, yeah,
yeah,
that's when the phone calls will start to roll
yeah.
in. So on the consultation piece, where are you, like, how have the consultations been going for you?
When I do them, they're fine. I also think, like you say, you've said this many times, like don't try to like make the dollar. They will come to you. You can't like chase it. And so I think I was just like eager to get people in, and so like would skip consult. So I would do it the day of, but I really need to establish myself as like a businesswoman, and this is how we do the
Mhm.
steps. So that's on
And
me.
the step can literally, and it's fine, like, right? Like, it's fine. You learn as you go.
Right.
And the consultation can literally be like, "Hey, I have time tomorrow." Like, if they call today or you talk to them today, "Hey, I have time tomorrow at 5 p.m. Do you mind if I swing by?" So, and then you do the consultation and then you set the session for the very next day. It doesn't mean that it has to be like weeks apart by any
Yeah.
means. It's just the point of the consultation is so you can get a look at the space and come up with kind of a game plan. So you're not going in blind.
Right.
But the other huge piece of the consultation is to set those client expectations. If you don't take the time from the beginning to get them to sign your paperwork, to go over your paperwork with them, and to explain to them, "Look, this is what it looks like to work with me. This is what I expect. This is the process I'm going to take you through." If you don't explain those things, they're going to start canceling on you. They're going to, they're going to be expecting all sorts of random weird stuff that you're like, "Wait, I don't do that. I'm not a painter. I'm not a," like, like the stuff that people think is crazy. Or they're going to think they're hiring a cleaner and they're going to be expecting you to scrub their toilets. So it's kind of, there's a lot of different reasons to do that consultation. And it's also going to help you build that trust with them, which you need before you jump into the session. If you rush through and you jump straight to the session, you've not built that rapport to the point where and that I guarantee you is the reason you're feeling rushed or you're feeling like they're rushing you, is because you didn't take time to sit and have that conversation with them and get to know them. So you're almost projecting what you think that they're thinking, and they may be thinking it, but if you do the consult, but I doubt they are, but if you do the consult and explain to them the process, all of a sudden all of that goes away. You've already become kind of like friends in a way because you spent some time together. So then during the session, when the work begins, you've got that rapport there and those expectations are already laid out to where they're not confused, you're not feeling stressed, so that's kind of the reason for the consultation.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Yay. I love it. Okay. So how are you feeling now? Like, does that feel
So
better?
much better.
Okay.
Like I know a little bit of what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, I'll send you the paperwork that I have. You edit it to, whatever it is you're wanting to do. Start getting that money put back for the LLC, just because the second we do, then you can raise your prices. We can get your Google going. Kind of like you were saying, that like legitimate business stuff. Like the second we can get that going, then you can also sign up for like Square so people can pay with cards if they need to. Like there's a lot more options once we get that part going. Plus, the name. Oh, but don't forget to go get the Facebook and the Instagram, because there you can go ahead and start working on that on the back end in the meantime.
Okay,
Yay,
got
I
it.
love it.
Thank you so
Perfect.
much.
Awesome. Yeah,
Great.
absolutely. All right. So, and then for those of you listening, definitely come join us in the membership. All the links will be in the show notes. And yeah, I appreciate you for listening, and we will definitely catch you in the next episode.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Pro Organizers Coach podcast. Go to proorganizerscoach.com to find all the ways that we can help you succeed in your business. Remember, you have the power to make a difference in people's lives through decluttering and organization. So keep honing your skills, embracing those challenges, and fostering connections. Girl, you've got this.